So this is a live stream. Yeah, so we've never done a live stream on YouTube before, and this is a bit of a test. But basically, because we did the premiere for that video, it gave the option at the end of the video. Well, we've done premieres on videos before, and then when the video finishes, that's just the end of it, and everything disappears, and it's sort of like, all right, well, I guess see you later. So this time it had the option of just basically, it made it seem like you just go straight to a live chat afterwards, but it wasn't like that at all. So I couldn't even open it on my computer because I don't run Chrome. And so, yeah, anyway, so we're here now, but it's very one-sided. So you guys can hear and see us, but well, if you say something in the comments, we can read that, but otherwise,
we
it's
can
just
answer questions.
Us looking at ourselves on the screen. Yeah, if you got any questions for us, obviously in the video, I'm in Australia. I'm still halfway up the coast, and in real time, I'm obviously here with Marie in France. Next week's video, we do actually say that, but until now, I think I've been here, 2 weeks now?
Yeah.
A little bit more. So obviously the Mad Dash was successful. I made it to Lombok, but there's still, I think, 4 or 5 more videos to come about that. And then, we'll get to more live stuff. But basically I wanted to make a little bit of I was filming faster than we could put them out. And also I sort of wanted a bit of a backlog so that, when we're both together over here, not filming any videos, I can keep putting them out to satisfy the bloody boss, the algorithm. So,
Until the new boss is the baby and taking our time.
Exactly. Yeah. The baby's going to be the boss soon. This is the belly. Can't see it too much from that angle.
No, but you can believe it's big and heavy.
Yeah. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed that last video. I put a lot of effort into that one. Not so much when I was filming it, maybe, but when I was editing it, I sort of realized, wow, this is a pretty cool video, and with the photo and all that. And it was only 12 minutes long, which is one of our really, really shorter videos. But I'm pretty happy with the edit and how that came out. And, there seems to be a lot happening in 12 minutes, which is good. At the end of the video, I couldn't really believe it was only 12 minutes because some of the other ones seem to go by shorter than that. But they're 20 minutes long. Yeah, there we got Tim Mitchell, Shaka, thumbs up. We were talking about shakas the other day here in France, and Marie's parents didn't really understand what they were about because I always do them in the video. I'm always like, yeah. And then I was like, well, yeah, I don't really know either. I've always just done shakas. So I Googled it and found out that it was
a guy who were missing some fingers.
Yeah, he worked in a sugar mill in Hawaii, and these 2 fingers got ripped. Oh no. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So these 3 fingers got ripped off in a sugar mill, and he, after, got put as a security guard on the gate. And so every morning people would just he'd be like, hey, and then and he was a surfer. So yeah. Anyway, that's a little bit of a story there. What does that say? The photos are amazing. Well, there's only one. Well, yeah, there's actually more than one, but I only showed one. But yeah, I was so stoked when I was flying the drone and watching. It was incredible. It was in color, obviously, when I was flying, but I've always loved to shoot in black and white, and I just knew on the screen that this is going to make an excellent black and white image, just because of the depths and the contrast and stuff in there, and it looks cool on color as well. I've obviously got them in raw files, so they come out as color, and I've edited a couple in color, but the pick of the bunch was definitely I think the black and white one.
Yeah. And I think you were also super proud of it because, like, this year in Australia, I don't really know why, but yeah, we were busy in other stuff. Like, you didn't really
I didn't take many photos.
Pictures and photos in general, and that's something you were missing anyway.
Yeah. Really, I've been shooting a lot, but not photos, just film, basically, just videoing stuff. And I come from the photo background, and I've been obviously enjoying filming and stuff, but just going out with the camera, and because I use totally different lenses when I'm taking photos. I use fixed lenses, and on a filming, generally using more wide angle, especially on the boat, because you want to capture everything. And with a photo, you're really trying to hone in on that point or that portrait or whatever. And so the big long 200mm lenses that I use for photos, you can't really use that to film with on a boat anyway, because it just wobbles too much in that. So yeah, the last time I had a really good time shooting, well, obviously I've done a few jobs, photo jobs, but the last really good time I had fun shooting from sailing was probably in Banda.
Yeah.
That was like 2 years ago nearly. So yeah.
No, and this kind of abstract pictures even longer. Like
Yeah.
it was in the mountains already a few years ago.
Yeah, Tim, that's right. The black and white definitely makes it pop. Yeah, just you can't really see. If I'd Photoshop the boat and the tracks, or just Photoshop the boat away and left the tracks in there, you'd probably think it's some sort of insects, or I don't know what you would think it is, but it's pretty trippy. I mean, obviously, like we sort of sailed through stuff like that heaps last year around the Whitsundays and through to all the way south to the Keppels. We sailed through that brown stuff, like
Yeah,
on
and
and off, not all the
super
time.
stinky.
Yeah,
It
it smells
looks
of blood.
beautiful, but it's not nothing really nice.
Well, it smells a bit like iron, like metallic blood, sort of. Well, for me anyway.
Yeah, like rotten fish.
Yeah. Oh no, not really. But anyway, this was the first time I've actually flown the drone in that stuff, because you saw the first couple of angles and that was just from the boat, and it just looks so you're sailing through sort of muddy, browny. You can see particles, you can see it's not just dirty water, but then just I just had the idea to throw the drone up, and it was just like, oh wow, this looks so different from that's what the seagulls are seeing all the time. Like it's awesome. I was like, so yeah, I mean, it'll never happen again that I am that sort of amazed and shocked by it, obviously. But the first thing, I just sort of think that these days we've seen everything, right? Like 5 years ago, basically no one had a drone. I mean, I've been flying drones for 10 years, but I was building my own big octocopters and putting huge cameras on them, and they were 30-40 grand worth, and they were shit and they would crash all the time. But nowadays everyone's just got this option of having a drone, and this perspective has just become so normal. Like you see whales breaching and someone's got an amazing slow-mo drone shot of this whale just going whoosh. 10 years ago this would have been BBC, like someone would have paid you 100 grand for that shot, because it's just like, wow. Like I'd never seen a blue whale until someone off the California coast was flying their drone and they had this blue whale shot, and it's just so normal and it's so hard to be impressed now. Don't you reckon? We just sort of feel like we've seen everything.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially from the sky. Like now
Yeah.
it's a view, then you can see way more. But I think also you had the right elements, because we sailed many times in this kind of orange algae, but was not always in line exactly how
No,
it was in
definitely
the
it
picture.
needed to be having the current in the right direction, and not, if it had been windy and like choppy,
Yeah.
then you don't see it as well. So it was the right
And
conditions.
even the trace it's letting in
Yeah.
could be really different with currents and wind.
Yeah, for sure. Like my tracks wouldn't have stayed in the thing in the same. Yeah, for sure. But I'm never going to unsee that now. Like in a way, it's cool I saw it, but now I'm like, okay, that's what it looks like. So next time I'll fly the drone, because I might get a different view, but it won't be something that blows me away anymore, which is in a way it's a bit sad, but it is what it is. We've got the opportunity to see everything these days. But I mean, next time maybe it'll be that and a whale breaching.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of dolphins.
And unicorns.
Unicorn? Yeah, something like that. But you never know. Anyway, I wish you guys could tell us some stories. You got any stories to tell?
More questions to ask, maybe.
Oh, you see, I got my hair cut. It's still a bit weird feeling. That's why I'm keeping rubbing it. A lot of you were commenting in all those videos. Oh, I had lots of crew on board, but none of them were hairdressers. That's true. But that was just part of the mad dash. I actually got my hair cut the day before I flew back here. I was riding a scooter in Lombok delivering something, and went past a little barber shop, and just little local kids that, on the side of the road basically pulled in, and they just 20 minutes later, it cost me $1.50. And yet,
How is the pregnancy is going? Yeah,
Okay, a
that's
little
a
off
good
topic.
question.
It's actually a really big topic. It's pretty much our only topic at the moment.
um, the pregnancy is going well in the sense that I am healthy, the baby is healthy, so like everything is going for the best in the best well. But that was not that easy. I had something called contractile uterus, so I had a lot of contractions. We were like potentially a bit dangerous to have the baby too early. So from
Smells of apples again.
I'm smelling what?
Apples.
Okay, so that's nice. So yeah, because of that, I had contractions really a lot of the more than normally. Like I would say every 5 minutes I had contractions from start of July. So I had to stay in bed to be sure that the baby was not popping out too early. But now we reached the ninth month, so everything is going all right. I have the right to be up again. I can't really walk easily. Yeah, I'm a bit like a penguin. I have a lot of pain.
She's
But I
walking
can I
sideways.
can bike. I'm super happy. Then we can do some
Yeah, today
tour.
we did 15-kilometer biking to a town up and down through Davendale, or whatever it's called, up and down, roundabout.
Yeah,
That's cool. We're trying to motivate this little ripper to get out here.
yeah. We were starting to showing some sign to him. Then he can come and live outside now.
Yeah.
But for the moment he's taking his time. But yeah, in general I was super lucky to first being in France, because I'm pretty sure on the boat I would have been really not feeling safe. Like I was at any moment maybe in the need of going to the hospital. And yeah, that was pretty good to be in a place that I was knowing where were the doctors. I was able to call the midwife and everything. And I had my two parents with me who were like really really nice, and they helped me a lot because I was really not able to do much by myself. And yeah, I was a bit worried that Vernon would not make it, or maybe the baby gonna come earlier and I was by myself. But now I'm feeling way more safe and relaxed. And we had the super good news yesterday,
Yeah.
because the baby is a bit big. We are not really questioning why with this one. Um, it was not really sure that I would have the right to have the natural birth I
Well, you never
was
told them
planning.
that you wanted to do that, right?
No, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like
Getting,
we were planning to do natural birth, but because the baby was a bit big, like there were some difficulties to some of the medical team. For them, they were like not sure it would be okay. And yesterday the midwife said that's okay. The hospital validate the project, so
yeah.
I'm gonna be able to give birth naturally, and the baby is going all right.
Yep. So since I've been here, I think we've been twice to the hospital. Or there's been a couple of checks and a echo sounder,
Yeah,
submarine
ultrasound.
ultrasound. So I've been slowly. Well, I'm bloody ancient. I turned 49 yesterday, but this is my first experience with having a child, so it's all new to me. But so in the last couple of weeks, the midwife's come twice. We've been to hospital once. We've been to the what's it called?
What?
The
Ultrasound? Oh, yeah.
ultrasound once. And so I'm slowly, getting into it. We've watched a few videos, and
Starting to prepare.
starting to prepare. And just basically my role is to, keep her calm, and we're gonna have the baby in not here at home, but not in a hospital either, in a birthing
Yeah,
place.
it's a special room you can rent at the hospital. Then you can come with your midwife and just being
Yeah, and there's a
in.
big like huge bathtub in there, and some hanging ropes, and I don't know, just stuff that's way more natural. And then there's no doctors in there either. It's just a midwife, and there should hopefully be no drugs and stuff involved. But we'll see how it goes. It's
Oh,
like
technically.
it's up to Marie, obviously. But she's been preparing pretty well, and now we're just waiting for.
Counting the days.
We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. We're obviously just going to wait and be surprised happily. And just it's been pretty amazing feeling the little Well, for me, it's just amazing, and for Maria, it's just a bit like, bloody hell, it's kicking and it's hiccuping all the time and everything. But that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I mean, it's nice here in France. We're having bloody amazing cheese, I must say. After being in Australia, where you can buy good cheese, but you got to bloody donate a liver, basically, and otherwise you just get this blocks of tasty, I don't know, nearest relative to plastic that you could get, I guess. And here you just go down to there's just a local cheesery, fromagerie, and they just have 3 million different varieties of cheese that they'll just chop off a hunk for you, and it's relatively cheap, and it's really awesome. So we need a lot of cheese. I'm going to come back to the boat, and
we had an amazing Indian summer too, so
yeah,
we are really
we were
lucky
swimming
to
2 days
enjoy.
ago.
Yeah, last
Mm.
week we were still swimming in the lake.
Yeah.
Now it starts to be more
It's a bit,
chilly,
yeah,
but yeah.
the last 2 days have been a bit cold. It's 7-8 degrees at night now, but yeah, we're going to come back to the boat, and the boat's going to be slower than it was before, that's for sure, because I'm going to be about 20 kilos too heavy. But yeah, that'll be I didn't even tell Marie, but it's my little goal in my 50th year to get in pretty good shape. So I'm starting off super fat, and I'm going to work my way into it. Yeah. This time next year, I'll probably have a 2-pack.
Yeah, a 2-pack. Me, I'm gonna be for sure
Who's
later.
this? Oscar Tango Romeo. What are you watching? Oh, from Malaysia. Hey, nice.
3 a.m. Wow, you're brave.
3 a.m. What are you doing awake at that time of the day? Just woke up because I had something outside my house, only to find a civet. Bloody hell. That's some sort of a cat, I think, isn't it?
Don't know this word in English.
Do you know where any cheap boats to buy in Indo? From Durango. Oh, they come up every now and again, eh? It's really one of those things, though. Like, I've seen a couple. There was an aluminium 46-foot aluminium boat in Raja Ampat during COVID that I was just like, oh, if I'd have had, well, I think they wanted 170 grand for it. And I probably could have offered them 100 because no one was going to go there for the next 2 years. But yeah, well, that would have been my dream boat. But it wasn't advertised anywhere. It's one of those things in Indo. It's generally just people, yeah, I don't know, someone of the partnership dies or gets really sick. It's not like a planned place to sell your boat ever. Maybe in Malaysia or Thailand, but Indonesia never. So if one does come up, it's very much a forced sale. But they're the ones you want to find, right? Because that's where you can just be like, oh, I'll offer you this, because they really want to get rid of it. But there's not really like any internet sort of sites and that for that.
No, and there's really not a lot of marina in places that you can store your boat, so it's also not really safe to let it.
And if the boat's Indonesian flag, that's really a bad thing, because Indonesian flagged vessels, you need to have an Indonesian captain on board. Doesn't matter what size it is. So that sort of is not real cool. If you've got a small mono and you want to go cruising, you have an Indonesian guy on board. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you got to pay someone to come and be your captain. But yeah, I don't know. People have asked me that a lot, and it's really one of those things. You've just got to be in the right place at the right time. Yeah, but that's just yeah. And by the time we would put on a video, hey, there's a good boat, it's gone. You can contact Marina del Rey or Madana Bay Marinas. Those two marinas. Madana Bay has about 20 boats on the hard stand, and I would say probably 2 or 3 of those are probably for sale. You just have to ask the marinas, because they would know. They won't be on internet anywhere. Well, as in there's no like brokerage in Indonesia that I know of. But yeah, Marina del Rey or Madana Bay, I'd contact them. They both have websites, and ask. They also Helena Bay Marina, maybe, I think, in Sarong. That's the other one. It's a guy called Wick. He knows of every sailboat in the eastern part of Indonesia, so he would know. What was this one?
For some reason, my love messed up, and I watched a weekly video.
Oh, well, that's sad. You got the upside down face. Maybe you're in Australia and we're on the other side of the world and everything's messed up because it's upside down. That's all I can say. But the weekly video was a good one, right? We just premiered that, so I hope you enjoyed that one. Oh, there's some more people join now.
Hmm.
Yep. Hello to all you new guys. We're yep, obviously sitting here together in France. Who's this? Durango. I'm in Oz. Did wonder about ownership. Might be a bit better. Grab something from Darwin or Kent. Yeah. Like that's a way better idea. Buying a boat in Indonesia, I had a friend who did it, and when he went back to Australia, he got stung with $13,000 import thing because even though the boat was Australian flagged, the transaction was done in foreign waters. So then there's a big fine, or not a fine, but they basically just fine you for that. And also, pretty much never when you buy a boat, it's just how you want it. And if you're trying to get a boat just how you want it, Australia's not the place to be. You're better off to get that boat. You know, the batteries will be buggered, the solar, something will be wrong with it.
Indonesia is not the place you
That's
want
what
it.
I said.
Yes, you said Australia, but no, Indonesia is not the place
Yeah.
you want it to work.
Don't buy it if you buy a boat in Indonesia and the batteries or the anchor chain is all rusty or whatever. It's just a nightmare. You know, you're better off to get it in Australia. Unless the deal of the century comes up, which that big aluminium custom mode boat that I saw was one of those deals. But yeah, better off to buy it in Australia where you can get all the goods and all the pieces that you need, or New Zealand, or wherever. Indonesia is probably the worst place.
Yeah, I would say Malaysia is better, Thailand is better.
Yeah, stuff you can find in Indonesia, like anchor chain, the right gauge that'll go through your gypsy on an anchor winch. They just don't have it in Indonesia. It's impossible. So you have to import it, which already costs a fortune because anchor chain is really heavy. And then they whack 40% on the value that they decide to put on the chain. So they'll just look online and go like, find the most expensive chain, then add 20% to be like safe, and then add 40% on that for taxes. And that's what you end up paying. And then a storage fee in Jakarta while they take 2 weeks to figure out the taxes.
Yeah.
So you're going to pay a storage fee as well in their warehouse. And then they send it to wherever else you are in Lombok. And the post guy there and the harbour master will also then charge you a storage. And by the time you get it 3 months later, you'll owe another half of what the chain was worth in the first place. Not recommended.
When is the baby due?
Tomorrow. Hopefully.
So it could happen at any time now because the baby is big enough and well enough developed, but the due date technically should be the 5th of November. But like, because I came back in France during the 4th month, it was quite hard to estimate exactly the date of the due, because apparently you have like kind of a spike of hormones during the 3 first months that it's easy to pick the right day and really knowing what's happening. But because it was already a bit later, it's the estimation. So start
we
of
call
November.
it a guesstimation.
A guesstimation.
Guesstimation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So normally it's at the start of November, but it could be late October.
Yeah. So the whole time Marie was still in Australia, she didn't go to a doctor or even get a proper confirmation that she was pregnant. Obviously she knew, but I just did a gas station pregnancy test. And
I was waiting to be in France because that was more easy. But
And are you feeling well? I'm feeling well. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling fat.
Her feelings change about as often as the weather in the South Island of New Zealand.
Yeah, probably. Like I'm feeling like Tasmanian weather.
Yeah. She'll wake up, oh, that was a great sleep. And then the baby will kick her in the lungs and then elbow her in the kidney. And then she'll be like, oh, and then she'll be ruined for the next 4 hours. And then.
Yeah. And I think also like it's a bit like the just before big jump. Like you have so many questions, I suppose, as any new parents who are gonna become. Like I'm just like super excited and suddenly having this like oh, it's gonna be so many changements and how we gonna deal and I'm gonna be a good mom and how it's gonna be there's many questions, but I think I'm doing well.
Yeah, and you don't really know what to expect, right?
Bye, Tim. Sorry.
See you. Nice to have you along there, Tim. Yeah, like you don't really like when the contractions start. You're like, well, I guess you'll just know. You know, you don't really know what to expect, right?
Yep. Yeah.
But hit the like button. Good thing, hit the like button. Yeah, but yeah, it's obviously going to be all new. You sort of watch as many videos and read as many books and get as, I mean, every
I think every experience, anyway, you can't.
woman you see walking around has basically had this experience, but you still got to experience it yourself, right? It's like no one's ever going to tell you exactly, because everyone feels differently and has different feelings and different expectations. But yeah, I don't know. The midwife asked me what are my thoughts and my expectations and all this, and I was just like, whew, I don't know. There's 8 billion people on the planet. We all got here somehow. It seems like a pretty natural process. It can't be that difficult if there's that many of us for this long a period of time. So I guess the baby will just come. It'll figure itself out. Like obviously, it's great to have doctors and stuff around, but in general, if you're healthy and take care of things, it should be a relatively stress-free procedure. Definitely more for me than for Marie.
Yeah, I would say for me it's way more complicated in my head.
Yeah. But just a bit of pain for a few hours, and then there'll be a baby here. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. No, but it's kind of crazy. Like, to be honest, I realized at what point it's, in a way, the more normal. And yeah, so many of women through the whole time of humans went through that. But in the same time, it seems to be such a special thing for any person.
Hi, Brian. I'd like to say that you're looking good too, but we can't see you. This is very one-sided. We can only read what you guys say, and you guys just have to watch us, I'm afraid. But yeah, I'm hoping you're looking good and feeling good. Glad you joined us, and I hope you'll go and watch the video afterwards and like that and give it a bit of a thumbs up. And yeah, what do you guys think about this the Prince thing? I was a bit actually. I watched Yuho, the Finnish guy from Alluring Arctic. I'm a big fan of that channel. I've watched it since they were just, well, it wasn't even his girlfriend on board. It was just him to begin with. But I was just like, oh, damn, he just beat me to it. Yesterday, he put out a video selling prints. And I mean, they're awesome stuff. They're up in Alaska and, amazing stuff up there. But yeah, no other channels really do it. And, I've been editing this video for a couple of weeks and thinking, oh, I'm going to be the first one offering a good print. But then he came out yesterday. But his are different. His are on aluminium, and they're not hand signed or anything. It's just like from a website sort of thing. But yeah, good to see anyway that yeah, hopefully some of you guys will want to have one of these prints. Let me know what you think about it. What have we got?
He's on aluminium. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a printer straight onto aluminium. I've done that in the past. Marie and I actually met for the first time at an exhibition I was having. I'm a photographer. I've had many exhibitions, all different parts of the world. So I've printed on lots of different mediums, and sometimes it's what the museum or what the gallery wants, what it suits, whatever. A lot of my exhibitions have been in like together with a sponsor, for example, Volcom. I've done a few with them, and so I've done a few on aluminium, and I really love the way it looks on aluminium, especially black and white or silvery sort of prints. They look really good. But my reason for not using aluminium and picking this expensive Hahnemühle paper was more just because I can roll them into a roll like this and send them to you anywhere in the world for not much cost, like the postage. Like printing them on aluminium, you've got to send a massive box that is really thick because it's got to have a lot of foam on each side of it, and they can't be bent. And the problem with this is, like, he's not seeing these pictures before they go out. They're getting printed from somewhere and getting sent directly from there to the buyer. Whereas the pictures that I'm making, I'm going and getting them from the print shop, signing and numbering them and rolling them and checking that they're perfect before sending them. Whereas he can't do that because the way his shipping is, it's called drop shipping. Basically, if you order it from Australia, a contract gets sent to a company in Australia and they print it to reduce the shipping cost. But the thing is, he can never check that the print's actually really good. You've just got to trust that that website sent it to a trustworthy printer. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I just felt like making limited edition that I'm hand picking up from the printer myself, or going there when they're printing it actually, and then putting on the little white gloves and signing and numbering it. There's only 10 of each. I just felt that was more of a quality. It's just more what I want to show this picture in its best light and not just have it as a factory sort of edition sort of thing, you know? Make sense? No, Brahmin, you're wrong. Aluminium itself might last longer. This paper that I'm using has a pigment guarantee life of 400 years. That picture with aluminium painted on it will definitely not last 400 years. That will, the colors will be gone after 40 years, something like that. So there's a huge, huge difference. The paper that I'm using is archival paper that is the best you can use for museums and art galleries and things like that. It's 400 years pigment life on my paper. Marie, do your parents look forward to bring grandparents?
Yeah, of course, they are super excited, especially my mom, because we have do you say in English recomposed family?
Patchwork family?
Patchwork family. Okay, that's more nice. So yeah, my dad was already a grandfather because my you say half brother.
Yeah, stepbrother.
Stepbrother
Yeah.
had already some kids, but for my mom it's gonna be the first time, so she's even more excited.
Yeah, that's her first grandkid. Yeah, because your younger sister doesn't have any babies. What have we got here? Oscar Tangaram again. Take care, you all. I apologize if I said something unnecessary during this live. Thank you. No, what do you mean? No. Unexpected live stream. Really appreciate it. Surely calm me a bit. Thanks for watching. I don't think you said anything unnecessary. All good. Yep, obviously this is the first time we've done this. It's pretty cool, actually. We might do it a bit more. Obviously, things like this are much, much easier here. On the boat, they're very difficult to do live streams just because the internet's unreliable. Yeah, I don't know. We've never really just tried to do it. We probably could have, but
we have just to organize it a bit better.
Yeah, because we're just basically sailing and not really planning too much. We always schedule the videos ahead of times when we have internet, but then day to day, we don't really know if we're going to have internet. So we don't plan to do live things, but then we didn't plan to do this one. We just did it randomly and it's working out okay. So probably we'll do a bit more in the future. And it seems like since last time we were in Indonesia, they've even put more of these towers up everywhere. So there is internet sort of everywhere. To be honest,
Indonesia is way better covered
than Australia. Yeah, that's true. Indonesia is way better. Well, there's more cities, obviously, and in between the big cities. But north of Brisbane, there's lots of gaps in internet, and Indonesia is sort of like everywhere. Thanks for sharing. You're breaking up a bit. Buffering? I hope not. It seems to be working fine here. Yeah, I don't know. We are actually in next week's video. I actually sort of show where we are right now, so you'll have to wait for that. But this is sort of a bit of a what would you call it?
Quite the countryside?
No. Oh no, I can't think of it. I'm going brain dead. Spoiler alert.
Oh.
Well, it's not really. We're spoiling it. But anyway, basically, yeah, this update about the pregnancy and where I am and bloody everything like that is in next week's video. But yeah, anyway, there's not too many of you watching. So the yellow background color you use with your thumbnails is a winner. No one else has worked out. Well, do you know why I did that? I did that because when I watch videos, and I watch a lot of YouTube videos, not too many sailing ones because I'm a bit sick of. Well, I don't know. There's not many that I like, to be honest. But I watch lots of other YouTube videos. I'm into motocross and supercross and DIY and stuff like that. But basically, so you've got this screen, you're watching the video, and then down the side you've got the next ones that they want you to watch. And I just figured if we had a yellow top and bottom, it stands out much more. So if someone's like, oh, I really like this video I'm watching, I wonder if there's any more. And then they look over and there's two more with the yellow borders. And it's like, oh, those ones. And that's sort of what
kind of a branding.
Yeah, it's a branding. Yeah. And I've sort of thought a couple of the times that, oh, maybe it's not working so good because it takes up more space. So you don't see the picture as much, but I really think it does sort of stand out. And I'm a bit surprised. Well, that's also the reason why I thought maybe it's not working, because no one else is doing it, but I sort of thought other people would have done it. But we've sort of been, I don't know, a little bit disappointed with, YouTube a little bit in the last few, well, a couple of months really. But we're not getting too worried about it. I do know personally that as soon as I got to Cooktown, or like basically left Cairns and got north of Cairns, I felt so much more inspired and motivated to make videos again. And hopefully you guys will see that in the quality of the videos coming up. And then I can't wait to get back to Indonesia. That's where the whole reason of buying a boat for me in the first place, years before I bought Marie, was to go to places that I couldn't get to as a tourist, like, Solomon Islands, place like that, where it's really, there's no tourism, there's no ferries, there's no airports, things like that. And as much as it was great being back in Australia, like, we got a new boat, Marie got to see lots of parts of Australia. We were there a year and a half and it was too long for us, to be honest. Like, I lost the joy of making videos, and you can probably see that in a lot of the videos. They were nice places, but it's my culture. I grew up in New Zealand, but it's basically the same culture. And you, especially up the East Coast in New South Wales, there's nowhere you can just go and anchor by yourself. It's just a harbour, and each one has a Coles and a Woolies and a library and the two pubs. And
I think also we are liking to film things, then we have the feeling that we are maybe not the only one to show, but it's kind of rare footages we're gonna bring to you. And in Australia, we were like, oh, there's already so many boats and people who already visited these places that why bother to really film and document it, all these different places? So we were maybe less enthusiastic or maybe less inspired to film things because they are already like seen so many times.
Yeah, and well, also that it's not even surprising for us.
Yeah, and even for us, it's less a shock of culture. Like, even for me from Europe, like I had I think also a lot of new things. Like, I was expecting Australia to be way more close of what I was knowing, but in fact, many things were different. But that was still kind of pretty close of how we are living also in Europe.
Hi, Ron. Nice to see you. Well, I don't see you obviously, but nice to see you writing there. I'm an explorer at heart. I think I am. I would love to go back in time to when I could really explore things. I do love that feeling, and I've said it in lots of videos, that in Raja Ampat or places like that where you bush bash and cruise through, and then you might stand on the top of a hill or be down at a lake somewhere, and you really have the feeling, or a special anchorage where you have to go in and find your spot. It is not in a book or anything like that. I really love the feeling, and I know it's not really realistic, but I love the feeling that I could be the first person there. And that's why, a lot of people ask on the videos, oh, can you put the latitude and longitude? Where exactly are you? And I'm like, no, I don't do that. Well, in Australia, I have been, because it's not really a surprise, but in faraway places, I don't, because I want other people to get that feeling of, well, we might be the first ones here, and that's why I really love that, and I mean, in a way, I read hundreds of books, and I love reading the older books, you know, obviously, you know, Western white people discovered a lot of stuff, but obviously, you know, a lot of the time they weren't the first people there. They were just the first white people there. But still, it must have been pretty exciting, just going places that no one knew anything about, and then going back and telling people, "Wow, I found this huge place over 6 years sailing away." But yeah, anyway.
That was a good question about the level in French.
Oh no, I didn't see that one.
You don't want to
No.
say something? In
Well,
French?
what I normally do when I'm learning is learning by doing. Like,
But you're not really
I'm
practicing
not making
a lot.
it obvious that I'm learning at the moment. I'm not making it obvious at all, but I'm sucking. It's getting sponged up. No, actually, I've got a mental block with French, to be honest. I would have with English too if I was, you know, if I hadn't learned it as a kid. I think English and French are the most ridiculous languages ever designed. They're completely irrational. I learned German in 3 months because it's just like, what you see is, this is how you see a word, that's how you say it. There's no tripping over. Like, every second word in French is said completely different of how it's written, and the same in English. I mean, obviously we're all speaking English, we don't really think about it, but if you sit down and look at the words that you're reading in a book, hardly any of them make sense. Like, literally, in a logical way, if you were thinking as a person who didn't speak English already. And French is even worse. And yeah, so, you know, I picked up enough Italian to get by in about a month. Spanish is sort of the same. Indonesian, we can get by. German, I learned real quick, but French, phew. Une baguette, s'il vous plaît?
Yeah, you can ask a baguette.
Yeah, I can ask a baguette, a beer. Today I ordered a coffee. I can probably
Say
offer somebody else a coffee. Yeah, I can say good night. I can
Bon
say good
appétit.
day. I can say have a good appetite. I can probably say your mother is a ugly dinosaur when I'm trying to ask where's the pizzeria.
Okay, or you say ugly.
I don't know, but I could probably come up with it. But anyway, yeah, my French is not awesome. Raja Ampat is one of my dream places to visit in person.
No, yeah, and you have to.
Yeah.
That's
As much as we try hard with the videos, and I don't know, I didn't even count, but I think in 2 years plus in Raja Ampat, I probably put out 30 or 40 videos from there. Don't even do it justice. Like, as hard as we try. I mean, obviously you can see some amazing stuff, and I actually looked back at a few of them recently, and I'm like, wow, that is pretty mind blowing. But just being there,
there's just a whole feeling like when we came back. When it was like 2 years ago, we came back.
Yeah.
In Raja Ampat, and I don't know, the smells, the jungle, the whole feeling you have over there, how it's wild in few places, especially by boat, like that.
Yeah.
That's really something special.
And it still is pretty remote. You know, there's you know, Lombok and all these places. It's awesome too, but in every single place that it's possible to anchor safely, there is a village and a mosque most times, which is cool. You know, we love all that. But in Raja Ampat, you can just easily find places to anchor with no one. There's no locals there. There's no one living there. Local might come by in a canoe fishing or something. But yeah, Raja Ampat's very, very special. But to me, going east, that is the first of the special places. You know, I came the other way. I came from Solomon Islands, PNG, to Raja Ampat, and it was a bit the opposite. But one day I'll take Marie east from Raja Ampat, and it just gets better. It just gets more beautiful and more authentic, and zero tourism, and no one's got a phone, and it's crazy awesome. But it's way harder to get there
fast because they're already putting some towers over there.
Well, they'll have bloody Starlink on depths of PNG. I admire anyone that has a second language or more. Cheers, Graham.
Yeah.
It opens up a bloody lot, I must say. Growing up in New Zealand, at school, I had the option of learning Japanese, Cantonese, French, German, a few other languages. But the alternative was outdoor education, which meant abseiling and snorkeling and shooting and just getting out of school and doing cool stuff. And I'm like, why would I want to bloody learn German? I'm not going to go to Germany. I live in New Zealand. It's bloody, everyone speaks English in the whole world anyway. And then when I first went to Germany, like no one spoke English. I'm like, oh, damn it. But, you know, I wouldn't turn it back. It was awesome doing all this outdoor education. But anyway, it's much easier to learn a language when you're in the actual place than trying to learn, you know, German in New Zealand as a kid. Who's that?
Joey Bag of Donuts.
Oh, yeah. But Mr. Bag of Donuts is always with us.
When
How's
we're
it
gonna
going?
getting starting? Never.
What do you mean, no sound? Jeroen? No sound? You must be from Holland, Jeroen. I got a friend from Holland that used to be the Volcom rep. His name's Jeroen. Jeroen? But I don't know. No one else has said the sound isn't working. I'm sure no one would be watching us if the sound wasn't working. So maybe turn your headphones on. You only need 2 phrases in any language. 2 beers, please, and my friend is paying. Yes. Yeah, well, I can say that in probably quite a few languages.
And in French.
2 beers, s'il vous plaît.
Mhm.
And the rest is Amici,
Mon ami.
mon ami, mon amour, something like that. Anyway, hi Marie, just got here. I wanted to say hello. Well, that's for you.
Hello.
Good for you all. Ken Healy. I haven't seen a few of these names before. When are you getting Starlink? Well, that's a good question.
Never.
She doesn't like Starlink. She doesn't like anything to do with Elon Musk, to be honest. But that's a bit silly for me, because you can't just blame a whole thing on a person.
No, but the reason I don't want Starlink is not because it's from Elon.
But that's quite a big part of it.
That's a part of it.
Yeah.
But
I don't want Starlink either, but I love
I don't
Elon
want
Musk.
to be connected all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. We probably one day we'll probably get it. But I'm trying to, like water makers, I'm trying to hold off as long as I can. Because as much as anyone will ever tell you on a boat, oh, we need Starlink just to check weather, you know that they're not just checking weather. It's so addictive, this whole bloody internet, social media. The whole half of the reason of getting the boat is so we can live our lives away from all this shit. I guess a lot of you probably used to follow me on Instagram and noticed that I don't have it anymore. I actually got hacked and that, you know, got deleted, but I didn't try at all hard to get it back. I'm happy not having Instagram. It's just another 2 hours of my day that I've got to myself now.
No, and I think, yeah, we are already spending a lot of time in front of the screen, like editing the videos and trying to be a little bit on social media because we need to communicate with you, and that's like important.
But we control it.
But we are controlling it, but we can also see that we can easily fall in just like watching things and losing time for nothing. And especially as becoming parents, I don't want my baby seeing just me like having the face on the screen all the time. So I know that it's gonna be different. Even doing like a small passage on the ocean, if you can be connected all the time, it's completely different. You can call your parents, your friends. You're not feeling like living something special if you are still connected and doing the same thing than usual.
I mean, going back to why I started sailing, definitely Dallas was a bit of an influence, and watching them setting off on a 20-day passage and all this sort of stuff, that was what was romantic to me. And now when I talk to friends, you know, since I've been here of internet, and they're doing a passage and they're 5 days into it and then they're messaging me or watching Netflix, and I'm just like, sort of, it's not really why I go sailing, is to be out in the middle of the ocean watching bloody Netflix. I'm wanting that time and that peace for my mind to be able to go where it wants. I'm wanting to think, shit, I hope the bloody weather's not going to go crazy. That's the challenge. That's what I want. I don't want to be checking the weather every 5 minutes and being like, oh, I wonder if the weather's going to be right. I'm just out in the middle of the ocean going like, the weather outside is weather. It is what it is. Deal with it. Like, this is what sailing is for me. I don't want to be connected. We can be a little bit more organized with our lives, schedule these posts when we have internet, go in, do 2 days work, editing, uploading, and then bugger off. And sorry, it's not like we don't want to spend time on social media with you guys, but life is life, and it's very, very bloody precious. And I just don't feel life is best spent sitting in front of the bloody social media.
And we had really the best experience when we had like few weeks out of internet, when suddenly you don't even have the impulsion of watching your phone. You just
you're not even checking your phone anymore.
Like you just like, oh, today we're gonna go on the beach, we're gonna go snorkeling, and you don't even having this pressure of being like, oh, did I answer my parents about that? Oh, do I post this at the right time? Like, it's just like relaxed, and you just enjoy doing like really easy things. And I think, but my generation, I grew up kind of with a phone. I would say since I'm 12 or 14, I have a phone, and like, yeah, I'm quite connected. But I love to have no connection, and my life is way more relaxed when I have no access to internet.
Yeah, and Ken Healy, I mean, everything you say there is true. It would make uploading much easier, and that's the whole thing with internet. Everything's much easier, but the thing is, you don't just use it for its purpose. You just go down that wormhole,
Yeah.
and you just get sucked in, and then
And getting grumpy by a post or by
yeah, something
comments of
pisses you off,
someone.
and then you realize, oh damn, it's dark outside. I missed another sunset. When we don't have a phone connection, we never miss a sunset. We're sitting on the back having a beer, watching a sunset, and I just, yeah, being on the boat is one of the reasons, like, to get away from all this stuff. And yeah, obviously it would be easier, and that's why I say maybe one day we will go down that route, but I'm hoping not, or at least hoping as long I can push it away as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because we have to accept that as humans we are weak, and if you have internet,
Yeah.
you're gonna use it. Like,
I would say,
even for a stupid question like, oh, let's ask to Google
yeah,
why this fish is blue, and you're gonna spend 2 hours watching crap.
yeah,
So,
instead of asking the locals which fish are safe to eat, you're going to Google it, and then AI is going to go like, "Whoa, let's just tell them that." But it probably won't be too far down the track before insurance companies, for example, say, well, we're not insuring you unless you have 24/7 internet connection to
check the weather.
check the weather or something like that. But yeah, hopefully we can live like this a little bit longer. What else have we got? You are romanticizing times with less advanced technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh my God, 12 years old and have a phone already. Bloody hell, I bet bloody most kids at 12 these days will be on their third iPhone at least, probably even more.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every time I have I'm pretty bloody ancient now. Every time I've got a problem, I was like, where's the nearest 12-year-old?
But at this time it was a phone, it was not a smartphone. I was just able to text people.
Well, they didn't have iPhones when you were 12, huh?
No.
Being connected on a long passage destroys the experience, and I hope you never connect when out in the middle ocean. Nigel Firth, that is exactly how we feel. The whole point of sitting on the back of the boat or the front of the boat and just watching the waves and letting your brain just go away wherever it wants, and you might think about your childhood or what's under the water or just anything, like letting your brain just go off on its own. It's just something that we don't get to have anymore in the real world, as in here. There's always something stimulating you. There's always some work to do or someone calling you. And that time out on the ocean to me is just, it's primitive, It's
Yeah.
just, I don't want to, as much as I would be like, I am in control of checking the internet if you have Starlink. As Mary said, we are weak. We would just be like, oh, check the weather, and then I'll just check this quick. Oh, I wonder if my parents called. And then 3 hours later, you're still just going, and yeah.
Oh, and I think naturally the brain of humans not really like to be bored, but in fact being bored is how you get your imagination working. And if you have other options, you're gonna always try to keep
Yeah.
yourself busy. But in fact, when you have no choice than just let your brain go, you have so many good ideas in this time, and that would be pretty sad to lose that.
Cheers, Brian. This it is a bit of a dialogue, I'm afraid. If you guys keep asking questions, we'll keep chatting, but it does feel a little bit one-sided. But yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying it. But yeah, if you got any more questions, we've got
Are you coming to the Mediterranean?
we're not far from the Mediterranean now, to be honest. In 5 hours, we could be there in the car.
Yep.
To be brutally honest, sailing in the Mediterranean is not one of my goals or preferred destinations. As I said earlier, maybe you just joined. Who was that asked? Ken Healy. Healy? Yeah, the reason I bought the boat in the beginning was to go places where tourists generally can't go, just out of the way places. And I sort of feel like in the Mediterranean, it's just the opposite of that. Most of the stuff you want to see in the Mediterranean is on land, as in, relics and historical sites and things like that. The water doesn't hold much for me. There's no, crazy wildlife. And the wind seems to be either too strong or not at all. A little bit like Indonesia, and everything just costs money. And I just hate the idea when I watch other YouTube videos, especially in the Caribbean more, but just going to an anchorage with 200 boats, it just doesn't interest me. Even in Whitsundays where there's 20 boats, I'm already feeling like, this isn't just not why I bought it. It's not why I spend 50 grand getting a sailboat ready to then go on an adventure. It's just not that reason. I'd probably prefer to discover the edges of the Mediterranean by camper van than by boat.
Yeah,
honestly.
I would say too.
A boat is, for me, the reason of boat is to get away from that, not go towards it. So the Caribbean and the Mediterranean, yeah, it's not really where I want to sail. I mean, if I have to go through there to get somewhere else, or if one day we would, buy a boat, because we're not saying this catamaran's not going to be our forever boat for sure. We will buy another sort of boat sooner or later. And if it's in the Caribbean or the Mediterranean, we'll probably spend a year looking around there while we're there, but it's not a destination that we're aiming for. What do we got?
What was the name of the French painter who went to Polynesia in the 18th?
Gauguin?
I suppose it's Gauguin.
Yeah, it says.
But I am
Industrial
really
Society.
not knowing about that he was going. Yeah, I think I can see some of the painting with Polynesian. So yeah, it's probably Gauguin. Yeah.
Shit, he fled in the 1800s. There was not even anything to flee from back then. Imagine if he was alive now. He'd probably just top himself. Great to see you guys. Got to go. All the best. See you, Dave. You said it, primitive. That is the essence of what we crave and what sailing can give. Yeah, that's it, mate. That's it for true. Primitive, as in not it's primal, primitive. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's not trying to be, you're just letting the brain go, I guess. I see. I just got here. Hi, Mark. Jonathan Scott. That's a lot of open spaces in Thailand, Vietnam. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So our plans, we probably haven't talked much about this. The boat's in Lombok now, and the plan is to spend the next year cruising around Borneo and Sulawesi. They're both two big islands that we haven't seen in Indonesia yet.
And then we were wanting to be in Indonesia because of the first year of the baby, and because we spent already time in this country, we were feeling a bit like more at home. Like we are speaking a little bit of the language, we are starting to understand how the country is working, so that was more safe to have a new start as a family. But yeah, for the first year we're going to visit the new islands we didn't see in India.
And then sort of after that year, we're sort of thinking probably Philippines. I've often wanted to go to the Philippines, and then maybe, depending, Japan, and then Aleutian round the top to AK. We'll see. It's a long way away.
Yeah, and maybe not with this boat.
Yeah, maybe not with this boat. Yeah, I get you, Nigel. That's exactly what I think, often full of party boats. Yeah, Ken, Scotland. I just watched some of Andreas's stuff from there. I worked back in the days when I was young. I worked a year in Formula One in England, and then spent a bit of time driving around bits of UK. And then when I was a photographer, the Scottish Tourism Board paid me to do a 2-week trip through all of the ski resorts of Scotland. So I've seen a tiny bit of Scotland, but Orkneys and all these places up there, this whole coastline, I've always wanted to see. I would love to, if I was going to be in that part of the world sailing, I would do that, and then go Swedish archipelago, Norwegian. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I've been to Norway, I don't know, 50 times. I love that whole coast. I've been to Iceland many times. I love that whole place. But to be honest, we do like sailing in warm climates.
Yeah.
But Scotland would be good.
I discovered that, but maybe it's depending of the kind of boat. But with the Alien and Trade Runner, definitely I was thinking I would be glad to have a bit colder weather, but in fact, no. I really like tropical weather with this kind of boat.
With the boat, yeah. So anybody knows. What is their actual name? We don't know.
Yeah. Where you see this?
Anybody
Yeah.
knows. Some people use a boat for socializing. Others use a boat for social distancing. Yeah, it's pretty true. We're not antisocial. We just like to pick and choose.
I'm feeling antisocial.
Yeah, sometimes. But we do often socialize with other boats that if we get along with the people, we'll go aboard and get a bit freaking hammered sometimes. That's not out of the question. It's just, if you're in a boat if you're in an anchorage with 200 people, I feel more antisocial then than I do if there's a boat with anchorage with 2 boats. Then I'm more likely to go over to the other boat and say hi, because we're kindred spirits then, because we've both searched out anchorages where there's no one else. So that makes us more likely to be compatible with the other boat than somewhere else.
Yeah, and especially most of the time when there's a lot of people, it's exactly like being in a flat with a lot of neighbors. You have to accept that you have few who are gonna have like crazy loud music or deciding to take off a super noisy boat and just.
Well, they've got a generator that they turn on just after sunset. Well, they've got a jet ski, my favorite. Anyway, what else have we got? Yeah, just checking. That's true. Just checking. And that's what you say to your wife. And then when you go to bed, she's sleeping and you were just checking. Like, damn it, she's sleeping again. Yes, Indonesian with you, newborn is going to be a great move. Yes. Well, that was another reason, actually, when Marie got pregnant, just to go back to Indonesia, where we both speak a bit of the language. I've got a bank account there. We know how that works with visas. We know how the seasons work. We know where we can haul it. Like, it was just seemed to be a nice, safe first year of parenthood for us. We know that there's, the crime, and we know how the health system works there. We know what to look out for, and it's warm and it's easy sailing. There's no rough weather.
And it really relaxed ourselves a lot, because like having a baby was not exactly planned. Like, it was not out of question, but we were not really expecting at this plan of going Tasmania and New Zealand, and suddenly we were like, okay, the boat is quite fast, but we're not really have a lot of experience on it.
And
I am
not
pregnant.
Completely trusting.
I am sick.
Yeah.
And I was starting to freaking out and being like, okay, this is way too much for me. And yeah, I think we pick Indonesia, and that make us a bit relaxed and having less pressure.
Seems we're there with you. Oh, that's good to hear. That's good to hear, Brian. Are you in Scotland now sailing, Ken, or do you live there? Jonathan Scott, how about sailing British Columbia? Yes, I understand that's a late spring summer adventure. Yeah, well, I mean, as I said, I've been watching Alluring Arctic go up through there, and I've watched a couple other sailing channels. I've spent a lot of time in British Columbia as a snowboard photographer. I've actually spent many months of March in British Columbia, all the way up the coast. I've driven up to Alaska a few times. It would be really amazing to sail up through there. Well, that's the thing, though. So if we do the Japan idea and go up to Russia, basically across the Aleutians to Alaska, AK, and then down to Vancouver, that would be that trip. That would be amazing. Basically, a North Pacific, and then down to Hawaii or something like that. That'd be a big North Pacific loop. Sand in watching you on Starlink? Was it Sand? I don't know. I'm late to the party. Did Marie show the baby bump? Oh no. There it is.
Yeah.
Just for you. Look at that. It's about the size of a watermelon.
Yeah, it's like swallowing a watermelon.
Sometimes it's really hard and got like elbow bumps and stuff sticking out of it.
Toes.
And other times it's doing like boop, 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 because he's got hiccups. When I say he, it could be a she. We don't know. Not because we're new school and waiting for it to decide. We just don't know the sex of it yet. Beautiful, Joey. Well, if in BC, I'll jump aboard for a few weeks. Yep, always welcome. We've got plenty of space now on the Catamaran, before on the on a monohull, it's just, unless you've got a 45-foot boat with a center cockpit and an aft cabin and a V berth, and that on a monohull, basically, if you have guests on board, you're sort of climbing over each other a little bit all the time, and it's fine for a few days. But anything longer than that, or especially with like parents or something, it's a bit, but on the Catamaran, we've actually got proper bedrooms.
Yeah. No, and you have separate sides.
It's easier to get on. Actually, my mum was aboard on Schiehallion the last month of that we owned Schiehallion.
Yeah.
She was actually aboard when we sold Schiehallion, but and she's 70. I should know exactly. 72, 70, something like that. And she, because Schiehallion had an open transom, she had no problem getting in and out of the dinghy. But the Cat's way easier for that. You've got the sugar scoops, and so yeah. We're happy to have people along for the ride for sure. It is a beauty of a baby bump. It is a big baby bump. She was we went biking today, and she has to go like this with her legs because her knees were hitting her. The baby would probably get bloody seasick.
Yeah.
I was just asking about now. I know. Yeah. G Fields, hello. Nice to have you along. Yeah, quite a few people joined. We just for those who just joined, we didn't actually plan on doing this, so we were like, we're probably just going to talk to ourselves for a while. There'll be no one watching, but now there's quite a few of you out there, so welcome to all. You've probably missed a lot, but anyway, it's good to be able to show you what we're obviously both together here in France, waiting for the baby to arrive. Vernon is very well traveled. I'm very, very, I wouldn't say lucky, but I'm quite fortunate that that's just the way my life is sort of developed. I've either traveled on my own, or for the majority of my adult life been paid to travel. And I've seen incredible places and met incredible people. It's always the people I remember more than the places, but I'm not someone who's trying to fill up my passport, or I've got I couldn't tell you how many countries I've visited. It's not an interest of me. All I know is that the more I travel, the less I've seen, in a way. Like, the more you travel, the more you realize that there is more to see. Like, I'm not ticking anything off. The more I travel, the more I'm like, oh, there's no bloody way I'm going to see enough in my lifetime, So that's why, well, in a way, that's why I sort of got into the sailing thing, because my past traveling, especially when it was work related, was often, or like I worked a year in Formula One. So you'd go somewhere for 2 days and then gone again, and went everywhere around the world and didn't see a bloody thing. And so now with the boat, we've spent, I've spent near on 5 years in Indonesia. Other people, we've met people on rallies and that going through Indonesia, and they stopped in Lombok for 3 days and then left, and they were like, oh, that was Indonesia. So yeah, traveling, being a tourist is one thing. Traveling is another thing. I really think being able to stay long enough to actually get to know people and not just beautiful beaches and waterfalls. That's what's important.
Deeply, and when I'm saying deeply, you're gonna never really understand completely, but yeah, like deeply diving in a new culture and trying to understand how they are thinking, how they are organizing their life and everything. Like, I think it's something, you have to spend a lot of time.
9 p.m. here in Scotland. Wow, that's practically midnight. Good to have you along, Ken. Thanks for the questions. Marie, when are you due?
So yeah, as I was telling, it's normally on the 5th November, but we are not really sure about it.
It's going to be before that. I'm taking her bike in. She's going to drink castor oil once a day. Baby's coming out soon. Hi from Restoration Island. Where the hell was that? I thought it was called Regeneration Island. Restoration. Reinvigoration Island. We come up with a lot of them, mate. Next week's video, it's got you in it, Stevie. Awesome. We had a great time there. That's you saw the picture on the end of this last video. Yeah, so you know that. Yeah. I haven't actually finished. I'm going to finish editing that tomorrow. I've got to do a couple of voiceovers. Thank you for sending me that video clip through. that's in there. And I'll probably actually send you a message tomorrow because I've got a couple more questions. Oh, we're getting more questions. Congratulations on the pregnancy. This
how
from
are we
Craig.
gonna deal with nappies on board? That's a good question.
You better be quick though.
So we have decided to have like washable nappies, because definitely in Indonesia the system of garbage is not allowing us, even if we would pick the choice to have throwaway ones. Like basically, the fewer garbage we have, the best it is, because we have to burn our garbage on the beach or in some places. That's
Hold on a minute.
Yeah,
sorry, it's saying here that ads will run shortly for some viewers. Sorry about that. I don't know. In 7 seconds, some of you are going to see some ads, and this is bloody shocking, but we'll still be here when it comes back. So just push skip whenever you can, and you keep talking now.
Oh, okay.
Only some of the viewers.
It's right now.
Yeah, but only some of the viewers.
Okay.
We could just sit here and be like for 10 seconds. No, we're still live.
So yeah, they are back.
Okay.
So yeah, about the nappies, we decided to have washable one. It's like how we are planning, but we are not 100% sure that it's gonna work as easy as we want, but we hope it's gonna be okay.
So Marie showed me through all the stuff. She's been, dialing all this in while I've been sailing on the Mad Dash. And basically when I grew up, it was just a white triangle of towel. I don't remember that obviously, but I remember hanging them up for my youngest brother. So mum would just throw out shitty nappies in a bucket of bleach probably and then wash them. And we're basically going to do the same, but they're way more technical nowadays. But it is basically just some fabric that you wrap around the baby's bum. And yeah, we're not going to throw away any plastic.
No, and we don't want to have to keep them on the boat and have to burn them on the beach. That's definitely not the plan.
No. You can, this is from Jonathan, Indonesia 10 years. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, literally, I've been there 5 years and we haven't gone west of Bali and haven't seen Sulawesi or Borneo, let alone Sumatra or Java. So, but what we have seen, we've seen really, really well. I've circumnavigated the whole of Halmahera, Morotai. We've spent a lot of time in Raja Ampat, as you said. There's a couple of bits in the corner south of Triton Bay that I haven't seen yet, but basically Roti and Lombok and Sumbawa and Flores, all these islands we know like the back of our hands now. We've done motorbike trips inland. We didn't film all that stuff. We filmed some of it, but so what we have seen, we've seen really, really well. But there's heaps more to see. But then, you've got Philippines after that. Never ends. What else have we got? Like the Japan travel idea. Yeah. I've been to Japan snowboarding a few times, but I've never been there in summer. I love the food. I love the culture. I always thought I could go and live in Tokyo for a while. I really love that city as well. But, I mean, it's quite a handful to go sailing there, I've heard. The harbours are quite intense, big concrete walls and things, but still. Hi from Chambéry.
What? C'est ma tante. Coucou, Marie.
Oh, we're getting Halloween baby. Oh, yeah, bloody hell.
No, I'm really trying to avoid to have a Halloween baby.
Sid Lucas. Hello, Sid. New guy. Hello, Verna Marie. Any reservations about raising a family in front of cameras? We appreciate the footage. I can imagine it may be difficult sometimes.
Yep. That's a big question for me, even more for me than
not for me so much.
But yeah, I'm really sensitive about the fact that I want to keep the privacy of the family and the intimacy of the baby. Like, I don't want to expose too much. And also, I am quite aware about a lot of using of images with pedocriminality. So I would like to protect as much, like not putting the focus on the baby. We can't hide that it's part of our life and it's part of how we are living than filming our everyday life. But yeah, it's gonna be another exercise to find the right balance to not overexpose the
for sure. I mean, obviously we're not gonna, this isn't gonna become a how to bring up a baby channel, because it's not that. But yeah, as Maria said, we can't hide the fact we're having a baby on board. It won't be a focus, but in a way, it sort of will be in a way, because it will be the focus of a big focus on our lives, and it will change the way we do things. But we won't be able to, for the first couple of years, go snorkeling together, me and Marie, because someone has to look after the baby. So things like that will change. The sailing part of it probably won't change that much, because as you know, in the past, I love solo sailing. I did the majority of the sailing anyway.
Yeah, but still,
I don't know. I don't think, for me, I don't think we have to really protect the baby. Like, this channel is very, I mean, I don't know, comparing a lot of other YouTube channels, sailing YouTube channels, the tendency is more towards, oh, we need more drama. We need more drama. And you can just sort of see a lot of it as a bit faked or made up, or there's not really any drama, but they make the drama to make the video more watchable. And we don't do that. And obviously we suffer with viewers and stuff because of that, but that's fine. I don't want to trade that. So I don't think our babies are going to become a drama factor of our videos.
No, it's going to be not the drama factors of the video at all. And I think anyway, what we are trying to show and what we are liking to show in these videos, like, of course, there's a part of vlogging. It's part, like, because there's some specificity of your way of sailing or anything, then you have to share a little bit the intimacy. But what we like to film and show, it's more about what we are discovering outside of the boat and what we are accessing with the boat. So trying just to put more the focus on what we are discovering than just of what we are living on the boat.
Fred Stewart, ads are for those of us who don't pay for YouTube. Bloody cheap asses. We don't pay for YouTube either. Congratulations, guys. Well done, Vern, for getting the mad dash. Not long. Yeah, thanks. It went super smoothly, to be honest. Obviously, I don't want to spoiler alert it too much, but no breakages, nothing happening. Like, the boat was freaking amazing. After all of that refitting in Sydney and then the crash in Early Beach and the whole, I was like, I didn't even tell you guys, but I was on one day in Early Beach, I was this close to ringing a couple of people who I knew would want my boat and selling it. I was really, really close to selling Trade Runner at one stage, only for about 12 hours. I'm not a negative sort of person, so I quickly got over it. But yeah, anyway, it went bloody well after that. We had a ball. I've never had so much fun sailing. Well, yeah, no, I have. I've had way more fun sailing Schiehallion, to be honest. But I mean, awesome fun, good sailing, nothing breaking, the boat handling like a dream. What else have we got? Follow the Boat has been the area describing. Yeah, exactly. They've been around for bloody, I don't know, like they were vlogging before Dallas, I think, and they've been in that area that whole time, 12, 15 years. Good on them too. I've never met them. Hopefully we'll meet up with them sooner or later. I've watched their videos on and off for years. Now listening to other YouTube channels. They say disposal, unfortunately, better as cloth toppies don't do well unless you have a dryer. I don't know.
It's depending of the climate, I can imagine.
I mean, we wash our own clothes and dry them as well. I'm sure it'll be fine. Been watching the rugby. Yes, I mean, I hadn't been beforehand because I was on the mad dash. I didn't have any interest and I didn't have internet and that anyway. But since I've been here in France, I've watched the last two matches. I used to play rugby to a high level myself. I was number 6, blindside flanker, or number 8 sometimes. Until I was about 18, I played represented rugby, and so I was really into it. But then since, I don't know, living in Switzerland for all these years now, I sort of...
It's glitching.
Okay, well, that's just for some people. I don't think it's for everyone. But yeah, so the last two games I watched New Zealand, Ireland, sitting here, everyone else in the house asleep, me watching it and trying not to be like, yeah. But it was a bit of a nail biter. And then, they were both on the same weekend, obviously. France, South Africa, I thought, I was a bit disappointed France lost, to be honest. South Africa,
I don't care.
She doesn't care. No one in this house cares. But it would have been nice to see France, basically go further. I would have loved to see a France-New Zealand final, to be honest. But France played a beautiful game, to be honest. Their game was, their style is that really good. They they just made too many mistakes and handed over the ball, and the South Africans were a bit ruthless, but they're just a big, strong pack, and they were ruthless. And they've, France haven't played finals rugby, and South Africa are champions. They knew when to step up, and they just punished French every time they made a mistake. They punished them, and France should have won, but shoulda, coulda, woulda. They didn't this time.
It was close anyway.
It was close. It was damn close, but France played the better game 80% of the time. They just got hammered when they made 3 or 4 mistakes. But yeah, next weekend, I don't know, Argentina, New Zealand should be relatively comfortable, and England, South Africa should be relatively comfortable. I don't know. English people wouldn't want to say that, but I'm sure South Africa are strong enough. So South Africa, New Zealand final, and I'm pretty scared for New Zealand, to be honest, but I don't know. I think we'll win it.
We are live for 1 hour and 21 minutes.
Oh, jeepers, that's a long time.
So we're going to probably stop in 10 minutes. It's going to be the last questions.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. What else we got? Would sailing around Indo be a good place to learn?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively harmless. Yeah. If you do...
But I can talk about it because I kind of learned in Indonesia because I was not doing anything about sailing before. But I would say about parking the boat, I don't know, you say maneuvering.
Oh yeah.
You have no marinas, you have no code of sailing, and the fishermen are following no codes neither. So you have kind of a quiet environment to learn, but it's not really the place that you are learning the rules.
No, there's no rules. It's make it up as you go. And generally, when you're learning, you tend to make mistakes and break things a lot. That's like shackles, and you don't do things properly, maybe, and so they end up breaking. And Indonesia's not a good place for that. To be honest, the east coast of Australia is a premier place to learn sailing, because between Sydney and the north, you have every conceivable environment for sailing. You've got rivers, you've got bar crossings, you've got coral atolls, you've got big currents, you've got huge tides, you've got sand, you've got mud, you've got rock, you've got kelp, you've got busy ports, you've got busy shipping channels, you've got swell down south. Yeah, you've just got a bit of everything. But the thing is, every 60 miles, you've got a town with a chandlery, so you can go in and buy stuff and fix stuff. And that's a pretty big deal, because a lot of people have the false impression when they're learning sailing that it's all about learning sailing. But getting a boat to move isn't very bloody hard. It's getting a boat to move optimally is harder, but that just comes with experience. But all the stuff involved with cruising is what takes the time to learn. The maintenance, the things you do to stop needing maintenance, like pre-maintenance, so things don't break when they need fixing, and all that sort of stuff. The anchoring, the working out tides and how to get places in the optimum current with you when the winds change in the afternoons, all that sort of stuff. That's way harder and takes way longer than actually just learning to get from A to B with the sails up. The sailing is easy. It's all the rest of it. And that's sort of nice to be in an environment where you've got a lot of, the east coast of Australia just has so many different things that you do that for a year and a half or 2 seasons. And I sort of feel like you could sail anywhere in the world and be, you've already had your toe in the water. If you learn in Indonesia, you're going to be okay there, but then other places you're going to be like such a fish out of water. No video, something happened. Bloody hell, that's a bugger. All Blacks looking good. Yes, that's true. Wood sailing, Vernon, your internet connection has been interrupted. Has it really? No, they're still down here.
Good again. Yep.
No, I think we're good. Brian, got to get some work done. Terrific catching up. Nice to see you, Brian. Thanks for coming. Sound is glitching. Nice boat. What's this one?
No.
Oh, care to comment on Aussie politics? Oof.
We have to admit that we didn't follow much what happened. To be honest, with the pregnancy and the mad dash and all of this, I have no idea where it is.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed had the referendum for the voice, but I didn't really.
We didn't take time to really going in depth in.
No.
In.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know enough about it, to be honest. I just sort of have this underlying feeling that, well, I just have a bit of a sadness for the the indigenous people of Australia, to be honest. I mean, I just feel like, yeah, they've just been dealt a relatively bad hand, yeah. What do you say? I just the view that I get as a foreigner, all you hardly ever see Indonesian. Oh, bloody hell, Aborigines. And the ones that you do see, you don't really want to see in a way. But I asked at a few tourism boards, oh, where can we go and see a settlement? Where can we go and see Indonesian people? And the tourism boards are like, don't worry about it. There's nowhere to do that. It's not good. You won't, And I was just like, what do you mean? Like, every single sporting event, every single cultural event, it's always, we respect our traditional landowners and all this. And I'm like, well, do you? Like, do you really? Because you don't really see a lot apart from some,
But I was quite shocked. I was really expecting, maybe I was not at the right place, but on the part we traveled, like, oh, yeah, you are basically any kind of cities are only white people.
Yeah, I mean, further north you go, you see more and more of them, but the ones that are hanging around towns are not living how they would want to live, or I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I don't want to really get into that too much because I don't feel like I'm qualified, and I don't, especially the politics side of it. But my base feeling is I'm just a bit sorry for them as a people. Yeah. New Zealand for Parlay Revival. Are they going there? Are they? I know they're in the Pacific now. I don't watch them too much. It's a little bit yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a massive fan, but I know that they've got a huge viewership and they have crossed the Pacific. All good again. That's good. Care to comment on Aussie politics? Oh, that's the same one. Sorry. Okay, great. I'm on the East Coast, Wollongong. Yeah, no. Well, you're in the perfect place. Perfect place. I didn't just by mistake buy my first boat in the Gold Coast. I was looking at boats in Seattle. I was looking at boats in Florida. I was looking at boats in Thailand way back then. And I chose it in Australia for the reason that it is an awesome place to learn to sail. You've got everything.
But it's 1 hour 28. So it's going to be the last question.
Got to run, love tagging along. Right, yeah, so we're going to leave you here. It's like 1.5 hours. Nice to see so many of you joined up, and hope you enjoyed that video. We'd love it even more if you would buy one of the prints.
No. You're terrible.
I'm just really, it's not about the money, to be honest. I'm just really proud of the photo, and I want to have you guys hanging it on your wall. That'd be awesome. Great seeing you too. Have a great delivery. Yeah, Jonathan,
thank you.
Thanks very much. It's going to be a real new and awesome experience for both of us. I mean, maybe not the actual delivery part for Marie, but I'm going to take photos of it all, so I'll show you them one day.
Oh, come on. No.
But anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll probably do this more in the future. It's been fun. And yeah, take it easy. Hope all of you have a good day wherever you are. It's what is it, 9:30? Oh no, it's nearly 10:30 at night here. So bedtime. The little one will be getting up soon.
Yep.
All right. Love the channel, guys. Keep it up. Thanks very much. Fred, before you sign off, just want to send some positive vibes for a smooth birth.
Thank you
very much, Fred Stewart. Very nice of you. Do more of this. Cheers. We will, Jonathan.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to organize and communicate a little bit more. Like it was really last minute decision.
Yeah, we didn't even put a message on Facebook or Instagram or anything that we're gonna do a premiere, let alone a live thing. But it's worked out good. This is nice.
No, and, and thanks for all the questions, because like without having questions, it's not really fun. So that's super good that all of you were here.
It would be super funny just to have like 50 people watching and no one saying anything, and we're just like, should we just talk, or is anybody actually watching?
Should we just play cards? This when we start.
We just go on our phones and just be sitting here like, yeah, well, this is interesting, isn't it? All right, guys, we're going to go. Love you and leave you. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.